Everybody, what is up, Facebook family? What is up, YouTube? Now, whether you're one of my friends, family, or you're a subscriber to the channel, I would like to welcome you today. And I would like to say thank you for tuning in. I would like to ask you to like this video and share it with somebody that you think could use some inspiration and motivation on what is possible in business. So today, I'm super excited to present to you an interview with my broker, also the CEO of the Surefire Group. A lot of people have been asking me, hey, Justin, what's the Surefire Group? I seen you posted fastest growing companies, number 17 on the Inc. 5000 list. Like, what is the Surefire Group? So today I present to you an opportunity to learn more about the Surefire Group and the CEO, Joe McCabe, and how he has scaled his real estate business. And it all started off for him as a real estate agent. As real estate agents, we hold the keys in our hands. We are the gatekeepers for opportunities. And I literally have built a career off of trying to figure this individual out. When I was 30 years old and I sat down to interview with RE/MAX affiliates, my broker, Joe McCabe, at the time was 28 years old, and he already owned RE/MAX affiliates with 3 offices, Keystone State Abstract, Homefront Mortgage, as well as a healthcare company. And at that time, I was just shell-shocked because I never seen success that close. Joe was a really humble guy, and for me to just see that somebody younger than me has accomplished so much more than anyone I know has just literally put a battery in my back and supercharged me to go after more in life and to go harder in business. One of my very first interviews on the network, this YouTube channel, was with Joe McCabe. At that time, it was literally my first interview, my first time podcasting, my first time, man, and I just look back and I see the growth, and I invite you to watch that video as well. But today we have an exclusive interview 2.5 years later on Joe's success and how he scaled his company, and now how we have a national reach in our mortgage company, in our title company. And we also have our special guest, Alicia Herrera, who has been instrumental in my life and my career. So shout out to you, Alicia. She has helped me professionally understand things more and to go deeper. And I appreciate her friendship for life. So today we invite you to watch this video, like it, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to our Surefire Group channel, and stay posted for updates and announcements and exclusive interviews, because we going hard, baby. This is the network season 3. We have a lot of great individuals lined up. We have interviews that have already been done, and we will be releasing weekly. So listen, thank you for tapping in, and you already know your network is your net worth. Peace. So for anybody that's watching, we don't have anything to sell you but success. This video today is going to be for leaders, salespeople, employees, anyone who wants to own their SHIT. And if you can't figure out what's holding you back, this video might help you realize that you're holding yourself back. There are no secrets, gimmicks, or tricks to this video, nor hidden agendas. And all we have to sell you is success. Today, we are honored to have our CEO with us, Joe McCabe.
A lot of people start worrying about, my time's too valuable to do things for free. And you got to be willing to invest in yourself and other people and play the long game. People are too worried about what's in it for me today and not what's in it for me for years. Starting an actual company, not a solopreneur or any of that bullshit, but a real company, hard work, and it takes 80 hours a week, and you can't delegate everything. Even to this freaking day, if you want to do something great, you're going to have to make choices. Your choices are going to have consequences. I don't know why people are so worried about whether or not people hate them or like them, or would think that haters come in different forms. The bigger you get, a target will get on your back. That stuff just, honestly, it's a sign of progress, in my opinion. It's like, all right, I'm pissing people off, I'm making shit.
Leave us with one thing that you can leave the audience with, so that way they can reach the success that they're looking for?
Just jump in there and start doing it. You don't need to know anything. You just don't. You just need to bring the right people around. And in the beginning, you don't even have that. So you just need to take action.
Today, I'm super excited to be here with our guests and our co-host, Alicia Herrera. Recently, we just had a huge accomplishment for the Surefire Group, second consecutive year. Today, we are honored to have our CEO with us, Joe McCabe. Joe, what's going on, bro? How are you doing today?
What's going on, Justin? Thanks for having me.
Man, listen, this is your world. We're just living in it, man.
No.
But
it's actually your world. I'm living in it.
Yeah, this one actually is. Also, we got Alicia Herrera, who is our business development, and she's been a crucial part to the Surefire success. So, Joe, I just want you to give a deep dive a little bit on, like, for maybe somebody that doesn't know that's watching us, like, who is the Surefire and what is the Surefire Group? Because it could be a little confusing for our agent. They're like, what's going on? I'm a part of Remax. That's my broker. So just a little context.
Yeah, so the Surefire Group, what makes it confusing is it started off as my qualified association for the realtors on the call. So that's how I got paid as a realtor. It then graduated into this holding company that operates in four main spaces. So the real estate brokerage space, which are Remaxes in Philadelphia, the title insurance joint venture space, which started off as Keystone State Abstract, and now there's 10 plus title companies under that on the East and West Coast. Same thing with mortgage. So it started off as Homefront Mortgage in Philadelphia, operates that way nationwide. And then we also got into the home healthcare business, which operates in Texas and Pennsylvania. So that's part of what makes that really confusing. And then over the course of time, we've owned, I guess, about 90 properties. We sold most of them, but we're purchasing another 40 in New York.
Are they all seller financing, Joe?
Most of it, yeah.
Man.
Most of it.
So for anybody that's watching this, maybe just to identify who our audience is today and what we have to sell you today. We don't have anything to sell you but success. And this video today is going to be for leaders, salespeople, employees, students, soldiers, and anyone who wants to own their SHIT. And if you can't figure out what's holding you back, this video might help you realize that you're holding yourself back. There are no secrets, gimmicks, or tricks to this video, nor hidden agendas. And all we have to sell you is success. So that was actually taken from your book, Maintain Your Gear. So quick little plug.
I thought so.
We definitely want to jump into that, because I feel, especially like your impact on the industry, Joe, is like you've revolutionized the real estate and title, like with the way that you're growing your business. And I know it's from your mindset, your attitude, how you look at things. I work for you. I'm the media director for the Surefire Group. And if I know one thing about it's faster, more, better, get it, do it, and keep going. But on the important things, right? And to be able to prioritize and execute. Half-hearted effort never produces fruitful results. So these are just like a couple quotes from your book and everything. But where did you get the idea, Joe, to scale this thing to the moon? Like, where did the unique value proposition that you have for brokers come in with the joint ventures and the title and mortgage? Was that something that you knew coming into the Surefire? Like, was that always your strategy?
I think it evolves over time. I had no intention of ever being in the real estate business. I think I start the book off by saying that in December of 2015, I had a start date for the Philadelphia Police Academy. I was only getting a bachelor's degree because I needed it at the time for that. I just happened to, in my college job of training people to LA Fitness, meet a realtor who gave me the typical pitch about how much money I could make. I joined his team. He didn't help me at all. I stumbled upon Keller Williams. Got the training, which was, training isn't great for someone like me. I'm going to figure it out regardless. So I think it's just a bit of a mindset that I've always had. But then I made $75,000 in a period of 6 months, which 23 is a lot, or I don't know, however old you are in your senior year of college is how old I was. But that's the amount of money I made. And my family was like, why would you be a cop then? I'm like, we're all Irish Catholic cops. Why the hell would I do anything else? And so I wrote that out for a little bit. I started doing that. I fell in love with the operations of a real estate company. I thought it was cool that you could own a real estate company. You didn't even have to be the broker. And then you could have title, mortgage, insurance, all these ancillary services, people paying you rent. And so within a year of just getting licensed as a realtor without even being a broker, I bought a Remax franchise. And then from there, everything just starts becoming a necessity. Like, I built a title company and a mortgage company because the real estate company didn't make money. And the only way to pay for these things, pay for rent, was to get as much cash flow as possible. And then, things kind of evolved over time. And I realized that in talking to other brokers and going to these various industry events and networking events, there were definitely no players in the mortgage joint venture space. And the players that existed in the title joint venture space had become very complacent, and they were expensive. So it was pretty easy for us to compete, because even to this day, I think there's one other legitimate competitor, I guess, in the title joint venture space. And there's no one really in the mortgage joint venture space. As much as people say it, we can never actually find out who these people are. They're magical.
And so a couple of things you said in there. You said you were going to industry networking events. And I know another quote in your book is, maybe it's a whole chapter, proximity is power. So I want to make the connection with Alicia, right? Alicia, I met last year at a networking event, an industry networking event that I hosted with Josh Buchter. Shout out to him. But that's where I met Alicia. And Alicia is by far probably one of the most interesting people you'll ever have a conversation with, just because of she's so unique in the sense of, I feel like, Joe, like I've literally, and I could say this, I've literally built a career off of trying to figure you out, right? Like I was 30 years old. Typical real estate pitch, you can make all this money. And then I get an appointment to meet with a broker after I had my classes. And that was you. And I was 30. I think at the time you were probably 28. And it's not like I was like shell shocked at your success or anything, because you're the most humble guy that anybody will ever meet. You don't walk around like a lot of other people that are as successful as you probably do. And I was attracted to the fact that it's possible. Like somebody younger than me is so much farther than me. And from that day on, it was like, I can never be the same. There's a battery on my back, just because I know what's possible. And I'm so grateful to be a part of the Surefire team. Rewind to when I met Alicia. She was with another title company, and all I could remember was like, yo, Alicia, my broker, he's the man. Like, he's the person, right? Like, he's scaling his title company. So I was telling her all about, check out this interview with my broker. Like, he's the man. Alicia's very good at what she does, providing value to the partners and collaborators that she works with. And we were here at a free headshot event, and you were like, what's her information? I'm going to reach out to her, and recruited her. And now we have our business development that definitely has added to the success. So Alicia, why don't you introduce yourself and what you do for the Surefire Group exactly?
Oh, thank you, Justin. Yes, my name is Alicia Herrera. I am the Director of Business Development for the Surefire Group. And really what that means is building the joint venture business. But just relating everything to what your story and what you were just going on about, Justin, I think it's just people that try and people that want to wake up and accomplish something that morning. And I feel like you have that in you. Maybe then that's why you're attracted to Joe, right? Joe wants to get up and do something. People who are making things happen. Some people are very complacent. Some people are, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are very happy with their job and getting up, and that's fulfilling for them. But there's some people who want more and are looking for more. And maybe because we haven't figured it out. Maybe we're still trying to figure it out. But I think that's probably why the people who are meant to come together probably come together, and that's how we're all sitting here.
Amen to that.
I think, Justin, one of the one of the things you and I used to battle about in the beginning when we were trying to figure out how to build the social media presence of the company was like, and I think it's a big mistake that a lot of realtors make early on. I started off on a less than a 50-50 split, and I was freaking happy to do it. I was happy to learn from Nancy Aulette, who was my team leader at the time. I never worried about what money I was going to make, right? And I think a huge problem with people today, a huge problem with realtors and just anybody in general, right? One, the best way to do a deal is to do a deal. And I said that on Rod Cleff's show, and he's like, I'm so glad you said that, because there's nothing fancy about it. There's no coaching program. If you want to buy a piece of real estate, go buy the damn piece of real estate. Start writing offers. That's how you start doing deals. And a lot of people start worrying about, my time's too valuable to do things for free, or my time's this, my time's that. 99% of the people saying that, their time is not worth shit, and they're not worth shit, and they're not doing anything. And you got to take action. You got to be willing to invest in yourself and other people and play the long game. People are too worried about what's in it for me today and not what's in it for me for years. Because the first few years of starting the company, for me, there was no money. I was working jobs to pay the rent. I was still selling real estate to make payroll. And people just don't have that hardcore mindset anymore. And a lot of what I write about in the book, and the reason I wrote that how you open this up, that I have nothing to sell, is that, I'm never going to run a coaching program. I don't want to coach people. I don't want to make a video program. Like, I have zero interest in that. If someone reaches out to me though and says, hey, how do I do X, Y, Z? I'll tell you exactly how to do it. I'm not going to coach you through it. Either you do it or you don't. But that's what I wrote in the book, right? It's real stories. It's real things that I've done. I tried to be as detailed as possible. And everything that I've done, my first real estate deal was in 70 to 90 property portfolio in Pittsburgh, 100% seller financed. That was my first deal. So everyone else is worried about these stupid little deals. And my thing is that most of the time what holds people back is they don't go big enough and fast enough right away.
And I can personally attest to that. I remember that time, Joe, and it was like I had to make a decision of what I wanted to do, because I had that mindset of instant gratification. Like, no, my time's worth money and this and that, but you have to build up to it. And man, like now I'm your media director, you know what I mean? And I had to work my way into that. And I feel like every day is an opportunity to create the life that you want. And we have the ability to choose what we want to do and which direction we want to go. And when we find out which direction that is, to find mentors and leaders that can help you get there. So I know in the book, you also talk about, don't ask somebody for business advice if, and then you have a list of these things, unless they sold a company, have employees. I forget the other one, but talk a little bit about like where you get your business acumen from. Like, where did you find your mentor and who are those people?
I think a lot of it's intuitive, and I think a lot of people know what to do. But I think one of the best things that saved me is my isolation from social media, right? If someone sends me an Instagram message, they have to text me to let me know to download Instagram and check it. I don't have that shit, because it's all, I know a lot of the people that are posting a lot of these things, and I know that they've never run a successful company. I know they don't own that stupid jet that they're renting for a picture. They're just chartering it. Like, I think stuff like that is stupid. And I think it takes away from the fact that starting an actual company, not a solopreneur or any of that bullshit, but a real company, it takes hard work and it takes 80 hours a week. And you can't delegate everything, even to this freaking day. And Alicia's worse than me, but like when there's something to get done, we get it done. We get it done ourselves. We don't delegate it to someone. If an application for a state needs to get done, I'll do it myself. If we don't know how to get licensed in a state, we don't hire a consultant and waste 4 months. We do it ourselves. I think that I've always been that way. I think I was that way before I joined the military, although that kind of reinforced it. But I would say that's really the biggest thing, is people just are afraid to jump right in there and just get going. And they're always reading these, on social media, there's things like, or books, the 4-Hour Work Week, and you ask 5 different of these gurus or entrepreneurs, and they all give you a different reason of how to be successful, but none of them ever tell you to just work 80, 90 hours a week, except maybe Grant Cardone and Elon Musk, people who have actually done things. They'll tell you the truth and people ignore it. But I stay off of it. I stay off of it because I don't like the fakeness. I don't like, being misled. And there's just very few people online that are being honest about how to grow a company and what they've actually accomplished.
Yeah, I gotta literally pry it out of you. I gotta set up situations like right now. It just feels good to know that we are number one in the region, number 17 nationally, and for the second consecutive year, we're being recognized. So I want you to talk a little bit the mission and the vision for the Surefire Group, leading up with this momentum. What's your thoughts on that?
So the vision for the Surefire Group is I could put silly numbers on it or whatever and say, oh, we want to have X amount of locations. But really, the sky's the limit, right? We want to be a partner with every major real estate company in the country if we can, and we want to give them all mortgage and title companies. So to put an arbitrary number on it, I don't know, as big as freaking possible. Same with the real estate brokerage. I think we keep that hyper local. A lot of people right now in this market are just, they're retracting. They're trying to see how things are playing out. They're cutting their expenses. They're cutting their marketing budgets. And we've always operated that way instinctually, right? We always watched costs. There was never, we don't spend more just because we have the money. We save that money or deploy it properly on actual real resources like people. And that's really the secret here, right? It's like Alicia says, work works.
Work always works.
Something like that. That's what it is. We're all putting in the work. We're all putting in a lot of work, and we're not, as a team, we're not delegating things to other people. We're not hiring a bunch of VAs. We're not, we're doing the work ourselves. We're going out there fearlessly attacking, the West Coast, for example, when it comes to title insurance is an unknown. It's an area that people don't go into, especially from the East Coast. But it turns out it's really not that hard. It's just a lot of bullshit rhetoric that's out there. So the vision is to make this thing as big as possible. If we can stay on the Inc. 5000 list forever, that would be great. I'd like to see us at number one nationally next year. And I think that's very doable because, like I said, there's not a lot of people in the mortgage, title, and real estate space on that list.
No, you're right. That's not like why I wanted Alicia on here as well, because I feel like the unique value proposition for the Surefire Group is providing that extra streams of revenue for brokers, wealth generation. So I really want to hear, Alicia, what's your pitch to brokers when you're speaking with them, when you're doing outreach? What is it that the Surefire can provide? What are some of the deals that you have in the pipeline or some of the ones that you closed? And just give a little bit of credibility for our listeners that maybe they're like, hey, we're a top producing broker and we want to get started, right? So go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Most of these brokers and brokerages that I'm speaking to are just leaving too much money on the table, right? So they're spending all of the time, effort, resources to initiate the real estate transactions. They're recruiting, retaining, training agents. They are the top of the funnel, and they are essentially giving away mortgage and title deals. And maybe they're getting cookie crumbs sometimes in exchange for those deals, but a lot of times they're getting nothing. And I'm offering them a way to capture revenue in which they have done all the activity for. So giving them a chance now to earn additional revenue, keep that revenue in-house for all the work that they've done. And a lot of these brokers have packages of some sort. They have something wrapped in a bow that is of monetary value in exchange for these deals, but they're not real joint ventures. A lot of times they're not RESPA compliant, and the Surefire Group has a way to give them something that will bring way more profitability to their bottom line and keep them in compliance. So that's really what the Surefire Group is doing. They will be owners. A lot of them are not owners right now in their joint ventures or whatever they have going. So they have one of revenue, and we're offering two additional extremely profitable and in fact more profitable businesses to their already existing brokerage with little to no effort on their part, right? So they've already built the entire infrastructure. Let us just come in and run it for you. And that's our pitch.
And who are these prospective clients? Because I know, in my conversations with you, you're a teammate. I work with you weekly, and sometimes I might have an idea for, and Like sometimes your response has been like, no, like these people don't have the time and they're a different type of people, you know, because you're looking for specific types of people to partner with. So who are those specific people?
Yeah, and I'm looking for broker owners. That's what I'm looking for. People who own large real estate brokerages.
Is production one of those things that you target as well?
Yeah, usually with a large brokerage, you're going to have it's going to come with a certain amount of agent count, which is going to result in a certain dollar volume and a number of transactions. So that's what I'm looking for. So if there's a variance, we're looking for a minimum of, depending on, there's some variables, but depending on whoever's going to drive title, depending on the state that we're working in, sometimes it's the listing, sometimes it's the buying. We're looking for it at a minimum 100 million in that. Whoever can drive the title business there and or the mortgage side there. So 100 million in production. That's going to be a smaller brokerage, and that's okay. We can help those people too. But the economies at scale we have to be at that number, really. So there are some small mom and pop shops. Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to cover payroll. So that's why we hit that number. So then everyone up to extremely large, multi-billion-dollar volume brokerages.
Wow. And now, where are we at already? Like, where are some, like, we're national now. So, like, I know that you've recently been just closing, but like, we're all around, right? Like, how many states are we in now, the Surefire Group?
Yeah, so I don't know. Joe probably knows that answer better, but we're across the country now. But the best part about this is it's all local. So we're hiring local talent. We want local bodies there. We want people that are going to fit that community. And that's most important because that's what's going to drive business. Like, this isn't a virtual operation from Philadelphia. This is people who are going to relate to those individuals inside that office because they're the ones earning the business. You have to earn business. It's still business. It's still sales, right? You have to earn it. And so we are really running a hyper local operation from afar. We are here in Philadelphia all the way to Hawaii.
Jeez. Man. Also, speaking of Hawaii, our heart goes out to Hawaii. Our partners were not affected, correct? For the things going on in Hawaii. All right.
No.
Amazing. And I know the one thing I learned from you, Joe, is like in real estate, you should be eating off of every side of the transaction. That's another reason why we have a special initiative, Realtors to LOs. We're probably one of the few brokerages that are actually helping our realtors get their loan officers licensed so that way they can make more money. Wow, I know we got into a lot of stuff, but there's no shortage of money, Joe. Tell us a little bit about your money concepts and the middle class mindset.
Yeah. I think that, I don't know, the more and more I think about it, I wonder if it's just a generational problem in my generation, right? They're very worried about work-life balance and all these things that if you want to do anything great, there's no work-life balance, right? It doesn't have to be financial, right? Mother Teresa, she probably worked more than 80 hours a week. So just whenever someone wants to do anything great, it takes time. It doesn't happen in 40 hours a week. And work-life balance is really just, if you want to do something great, you're going to have to make choices. Your choices are going to have consequences. And sometimes that means that family doesn't get as much attention. But if you're looking at it from a financial perspective, maybe that means you're building something great now so that you can do all those great things later. I think there's a huge problem with the live in the now, be present. I think that message has really gotten perverted, right? Be present with the people you're with, obviously, but always being present, never doing anything because you're out screwing off. I think that's a huge issue. So when I talk about the middle class mindset and work-life balance, that's a lot of what I'm saying is I wake up every day and just start running. And the more and more we do, the more I want to do, right? There's when I get 10 more title joint ventures, we're going to slow down. That doesn't exist. We've talked about, maybe we should pump the brakes because we have a bunch of title joint ventures. That is a huge mistake. You never want to pump the brakes on sales. A lot of companies do that right now. The market's down and they're cutting back on marketing, the thing that drives their revenue. It's like, now's the time to get ahead. It's illogical to cut your marketing budget when things are tough. If anything, you cut everything out and put more into marketing. I don't know. I think hopefully that answered the question, but.
Good. That's really good. Talk a little bit about your leadership. Like when it comes to running your companies, like what are you looking for as far as talent? Like, how do you like impart your vision to like our value proposition? What we do, that's we sell joint ventures. Like, what are you looking for any future talent for your partners, for staff, and even for the real estate agents in your brokerage? Like, what is the expectation on them?
So I don't have a fancy leadership style. I think what I do is I'm not afraid to jump into any role, right? I'm not going to ask anybody to do anything I wouldn't do. So if there's anything in the company that needs to be done, I could probably do it myself. I know every role. I'm not afraid to lead from the front. And when we're looking for team members, we've made a mistake in the past. We hired someone, you guys knew him, who needed an assistant to send out an email. Well, that's not going to work here, right? Because we're trying to keep all our capital and grow the company. Right? We're not some bureaucratic bank. So, really the leadership style that I think goes wrong in a lot of these large companies is they're very bureaucratic. They're very heavy layers. Things don't get done. Things take forever to get done. And no one is actually willing to do anything outside of their job description. Well, that doesn't work because if you, I don't know, like Justin, you might have your position's a good example of this. We're constantly adding operations, right? So maybe when you first started, it was you're going to do marketing for Remax, Keystone, and the Philadelphia-based Homefront Mortgage. Well, then we dumped 10 locations on you, and you didn't say, well, that's not in my job description, right? Because you wouldn't be here anymore. Because that would be a very stupid comment. And so I think that's how we lead, and that's what we look for from other people. And Derek's obviously the same way, and that's why we get along really well because we both have the military background. And in the military, that's how things are, right? I think for efficiency purposes, you want to have people doing these administrative tasks or these $10 an hour tasks. Absolutely. For sure. You should have those things in place. But it's not always going to work out that way. And those people are never going to do it as good as we are. I can bang out, I did, about 3 weeks ago, this bank offered us a ridiculous deal, right? And no other owner of a company would probably do this. And they'll be like, oh, that guy's an idiot. But I was scrambling to find us a bank that would pay us a sweep, pay us money on the money we're holding for other people. And I did like 30 freaking bank applications and gathered all the corporate documents just to not burden the team with this transition. That's where I think leadership is, right? Leadership isn't, fortunately, it is a lot of companies, fancy speeches and getting up there and doing all that stuff. I hate that stuff. I think it's silly. I'm not going to make a speech and then go and do the complete opposite. If I'm going to jump in with the team and get things done.
Then you're going to ask someone else to do the speech.
Because I want someone else to do it. I hate doing that. That's not me.
And that's what I always admired about you is that like you lead from the front, without having to be in the front. It's you lead by exampleship and by doing the work. Explain your dichotomy with Derek. Like what were you looking for when you hired your CFO of the company? COO.
Yeah.
So explain like the dichotomy with him. Like how did your relationship with him come? What role does he play?
So I think my job is really to make sure that right now, especially that I'm running as fast as possible with Alicia and supporting her as she brings in new JVs to make sure we have the right vendors, to make sure we're able to add them, to get us through licensing, to just support in any way we can in selling. Well, when I'm spending 40 hours a week on title, that takes attention away from the brokerage. It takes attention away from the mortgage company or the cleaning company or the home care company. And so Derek kind of is the stability portion of me. I just can't be in all places at once, right? So he's hosting those weekly meetings. He's making sure that everyone's charging down the right path and executing on the vision and the tasks that are at hand so that we don't fall behind. Because it's very easy to fall behind if someone doesn't have their finger on the pulse on a daily basis. And obviously sales are the most important, right? So for me to do that would be very inefficient. It wouldn't get us on the Inc. 5000 list. It wouldn't add new locations. And like, I have a map over here that you can't see, but like I've got a pin in all the little locations that we have. I'd love to see one in every single state. But if I was following up with the staff all day and handling administrative issues, and again, not that I won't do them, right? So that's a bit of the dichotomy. Yeah. I'll do them. I'll stay up till 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., but that's not the best use of my time.
So it's basically you knowing your strengths and moving accordingly.
I get energy from progress. I think most people do know it. Well, what gets you through the downtimes? Progress. You just keep going and keep making things happen. A lot of people, they get hit in the face and then they just stop. Like they just stop. They need 2 weeks off. Their life's so hard. It's the best way to get out of that is actually just to keep going, take action, keep going. It actually didn't hurt that bad. And 90% of the time, any of these things that feel catastrophic, lawsuits, losing a key staff member, well, they're never as key as you thought. And the lawsuit's never as bad as you thought. And any bad thing in business has always ended up like the person we replaced, Alicia. We got Alicia. We were in a transition. We didn't know what to do. We had just gotten rid of a business development person that just, frankly, was horrible. And you guys kept talking about how Alicia's showing up at all these events. It's like, okay, so like she's taking our title business, just give her a call and see if she wants to work with us. What's the big deal? It's like there's a simple solution to all these problems. People just don't take action on them. Like that, we could have talked about it for another 3 months. But instead, I just picked up the phone.
And like in one of our emails that you sent to the team, you said sometimes it's as easy as just Googling it to get the answer, to figure it out.
Yeah.
So explain.
It was funny. It was a couple of weeks ago. Derek will hate me for this, but we were on a text exchange about this LO and things went really bad during an interview or something. And no one got his cell phone number. And they're going back and forth about how this is such a bad thing. We didn't get his cell phone number and now we can't contact him. We can't try to salvage the deal. And I let it go on for a couple hours. And then the next morning I just replied, I'm like, guys, here's his cell phone number. Like I Googled it. And the text I got back was, I hate you. But things are that simple, right? People just start to overanalyze and, oh my God, we lost this guy's number. We're never going to be able to get it. It's like he's a loan officer. Like his information's out there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Alicia, I want you to give an overview of what was your first impression when Joe gave you a call. What was your due diligence as far as, did you already know who he was? Did you look into him from that time? What made you want to join the Surefire Group and be a part of this movement and now grow this movement?
Oh, that's a good question. I wasn't ready for that one.
That wasn't on the notes.
I have to put myself back in that moment. I think you just have a feeling sometimes, right? Like you're looking for opportunities and those windows of opportunities are short. Like the door's going to close on you. So the market, we're in real estate, right? Like we're talking about real estate and we're in a weird place right now. So when the opportunity came and I had learned about Joe, done a little bit of digging about Joe, and then learned about the opportunity, like I just felt like something that I had to be a part of, and I was ready to jump on board. Like sometimes it's just you have to make the decision, and it was something exciting, and it was at the birth or at a younger stage, or not birth, that's not the right word. It was at a younger stage, and I have experience at being at younger companies, at earlier stages in companies. So it was somewhere where I felt comfortable. So it maybe just felt natural to me. And so everything kind of just fell into place and it just was meant to be.
That was like the coldest business move. I'm like, wow. But it's the mindset, right?
Yeah, you have no expectations. Like I wasn't expecting that call that day and I wasn't expecting, you just don't know. So some things are just meant to be. And that's how I live my life anyway. That's right.
Hate is a part of growth because it makes people uncomfortable to see others doing more than them. So this is the quote kind of going to end with, Joe, because with all of this success of the company, all of the success in your personal life, now being a father, what would you say? Is it that, like that quote right there, that you just understand that people are going to hate so you could just stay in your own lane? What is it that kind of moves you to keep going for more? If that question made sense.
So I wrote that because I hear it all the time and I just don't understand why people care, to be honest. I don't know why people are so worried about whether or not people hate them or like them or how did they think about that post I made? I don't know. Just don't make the post and get off social media. I think that is stupid, right? And I think it holds a lot of people back. And not to say that a lot of realtors don't make a lot of business on social media and all that stuff. That's great. It's not for me. But people are very worried. And I think that haters come in different forms. I would categorize haters the same as family as well-meaning, right? No one in your family wants to see you fail. And so because of that, they might try to hold you back. You might partner with business partners that you think are going to work out really, really well, and then they try to claw you right back down to the bottom because maybe they didn't want to go as far as they told you they did, and they get really intimidated and scared. They'll self-sabotage the entire operation. You have to sue them for 3 years, and you win, but that's only after spending a lot of money. That's why I put that in there. Is like, it's going to happen. Who cares? Ignore it. You're going to get sued the bigger you get. A target will get on your back. That stuff just, honestly, it's a sign of progress, in my opinion. It's like, all right, I'm pissing people off. I'm making shit happen. Right, and people want to stop me. And that means that you're taking business from other people, which is good. That's a good thing.
So we're going to end. I know your time is valuable. You got a jam-packed day because you actually live this stuff. Leave us with one thing, maybe one tip that you can leave the audience with, so that way they can reach the success that they're looking for.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing that people always ask that. And it's like, just, it's time to take action on whatever it is you're going after. It's not stop thinking about, I got to go to another conference or read another book or take another online course. If you want to buy a 100 property portfolio, just start writing offers and see what happens. Ask them to sell or finance it. If you want to buy a business, go buy the business. Just start writing offers and things will happen. And you'll learn in the deal. Right? How do you negotiate a deal? Get on the phone with someone who has a deal and start talking to them and figure out how to get to the middle. Maybe you don't get the first, I forget the exact numbers, about 150 offers I wrote somewhere in there before I got that first 90 unit portfolio. And yeah, people are going to be like, what are you, an idiot? 100% financing on 90 properties? Who cares? Move on. Sorry, I thought the deal would work for you. So just jump in there and start doing it, because it sounds silly and it sounds like I'm holding things back, but you can read the book and there's some more exact stories in there. But really everything that I've done, I didn't know anything about real estate, didn't know anything about mortgage, didn't know anything about title, still don't know in the Medicaid company if we bill Medicare or Medicaid, but I know it's healthcare. And like, you don't need to know anything. You just don't. You just need to bring the right people around. And in the beginning, you don't even have that. So you just need to take action.
Man, Joe, thank you so much for your time. Alicia, thank you so much for joining me on this. My partner in crime, Alicia Herrera. And yeah, folks, tap in, subscribe to this channel. This is Surefire TV, where you can find so many success stories and you can find valuable content for you to grow your business. So that's it for now, y'all. Until next time, peace.